Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for the wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who might like it too, and don't forget to drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around to the end because I'm going to read out two of my favorite positive comments from previous videos. So maybe one of them might be yours, okay? Now, we're going to talk about something that is so interesting. This is very interesting to me. And I have said this. I have said this so many times. And an Aquarius said this to me over the weekend. And I was like, oh my God, we got to talk about this. So the Aquarius said, he asked me a question. He said, Queen, do you think that Aquarius purposely pick unavailable lovers? Now, I'm gonna go here with you because I've thought of this about myself and I've seen other Aquarius do this. I think so. I think on a conscious or a subconscious level, some Aquarius fixate on a person that they know they can't have. Either because the person is emotionally unavailable or the person is physically unavailable. But I think that a lot of us do this, and I've seen it in my own life. I'm going to give you an example. At one point in my life, I was friends with this Libra. And I was very we had what we called a pseudo relationship. And we would talk about it all the time. We called it the pseudo. It had a whole name. And basically what the pseudo was that we were in a romantic-ish relationship, but not together. Okay? So we had never met each other. We had never had sex. We had never been intimate with each other, but we were flirty, I'll call it, and kind of treated each other like we belonged to each other. Okay? I met her on the internet. We would talk all the time. She was my best buddy. You know, I went and saw her 2 times and stayed with her for a couple weeks. But we were never, intimate with each other, and it never crossed that line. But the whole time, or most of the time, we were friends. We were friends for almost a decade. And the whole time we were in that situation, we were calling it a pseudo relationship. Now, when I look back on this and I look at that time period in my life and the things that I was going through and the things that I was doing, it seems very obvious to me that time, and it was many other times, that I fixated on a person who I was not really going to be with or could not be with. And in her case, it was the distance. But it was other situations too. And I think that Aquarius are so smart that sometimes we outthink ourselves. I think that sometimes Aquarius do things, and I think other people do this too, but I think that we're so smart that some of the times we think ourselves out of things in a very subconscious kind of way. Because I think Aquarius do this, those of us that do this, I think we do this because we don't want to make a commitment. Not that we're not open to it, but we don't want to commit to the wrong person. So if we become fixated on an unavailable person, we never really have to be with them. And I think that up here, a lot of us, because we're smart like that, we're quick, We're so smart, sometimes we do things and we don't even know what we're doing. We're just doing it because it's like automatic, It's something our subconscious has come up with and we just act it out. And I feel like a lot of times the Aquarius that do this, we do this because of the fact that we really don't want to commit. We're okay with it, but we're kind of scared of it. We don't want to do it lightly, that kind of thing. So if we focus on somebody who's unavailable, we never have to commit to them. And I've seen it with people, we do it with people who are far away. I see it very commonly in these kind of ways. Long distance, because they're not there, so we don't really have to be with them. I've seen it with people falling in love with people who are married or in relationships. I've done this with myself. I've seen a lot of Aquarius do this. And the Aquarius is so in love with this person who is in a relationship with another person. So they don't really have to be with that person. They can be as in love and as connected to them as they want to be, but they don't have to really commit to them. So I've seen it in those situations. I've seen Aquarius who attach to a person that just doesn't want them, an unrequited love, or a person who wants them but can't. They got an emotional thing going on and they're emotionally unavailable. I've seen a lot of Aquarius play this game, and I didn't realize it until after the fact. Like in the past, like 5-6 years, I've been looking back on some of my old behaviors, and I'm like, you did a lot of that shit on purpose. And I'm telling myself, like, you ain't slick. And I'm now seeing from talking to other Aquarius that some other Aquarius have tricked themselves this way too. And like I said, the whole purpose of it is because we don't want to get with the wrong person. So we get with these unavailable people, and we can be with them because Aquarius, what a lot of Aquarius want is connection. For a lot of this, that's enough. I know for me, a connection doesn't have to be sexual. I've had several people in my life that I was very close to, and we had that connection and was never in any kind of a sexual situation because I don't need the sex. All I need is the connection. You see? So it's been several different times. I had another time when it was a Libra and it was a man and he was married. And this is when I was a young girl. But he was in like California and I lived in Philadelphia. We never saw each other. We were never going to really be together, but I was so in love and so fixated with this Libra, another Libra. I love my Libras. It is what it is. So I was in love with this Libra, but now looking back on it, I'm like, you were in love with him because you knew you were never really going to be with him. You got an opportunity to get that closeness from him, that connection from him, that attention from him, but you never really had to be in a relationship with him. You didn't have to deal with him day to day. You didn't have to see him after work. All you had to do was talk to him, which was fine because I was getting my attention, from talking to him and seeing him on camera and, that kind of thing. So like I said, it gives us the connection that we want without the commitment. So tell me, if you're an Aquarius, have you ever done this before? Because I talked to one over the weekend that mentioned it to me, and I talked to two other ones that told me about it. And the one young lady that was telling me about it, this was months ago, she said it was married men. She said she only dated married men. And I was like, that's really bad karma, right? Been there, done that, not a good idea. And she was like, I know. And I realized over time that I was doing that so I didn't have to be in a real relationship. Bam! My mind was like, yeah, that's what we be doing. And I see it. And like I said, everybody doesn't do it. Some people know better. And some people just do it in different ways. Like being in love with somebody who's emotionally unavailable. So they're single. They're totally single. You could be with them. They're in the same town. They're in the same city. You could be in a relationship with them, but you knew when you met them, they were emotionally unavailable. And that's why you became so fixated on them, was because you never really had to commit to them. So you are feeling them. You do have a connection with them. It's usually an emotional connection. And that's what you really wanted. And you never have to take it further than that. You never really have to step to the commitment plate, as they say. So when this Aquarius said this to me over the weekend, I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. And yes, I do think that we do that. I know I've done it. I've done it many different times. Because I can think back on relationships like the other Libra. He and I were never sexual, but we were very emotionally connected. We spent a lot of time together. We talked to each other constantly, hung out, did things all the time. But in his case, he was not, and this was my thing. I came to realize he was not into women who were big women. He liked really, really, really skinny, teeny little women. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I can be in this emotional connection and never have to worry about making any kind of commitments to him other than to be emotionally connected when I feel like it, because I'm not his type. But That didn't work either. Because what ended up happening over time was, no, I wasn't his type, but we grew an attraction to each other. His attraction to me, I think, was more of a physical attraction, and my attraction to him was predominantly an emotional attraction. I liked the attention that I got from him. I liked spending time with him. That was a 10-year relationship again. So it seems to me that I've done it in a multitude of different ways. Got with somebody who wasn't available in some kind of way. When me and Voldemort got together, neither one of us was available. Neither one of us was available. I was living with someone and he was living with a different person. When we first started seeing each other and sneaking around, we were both in relationships. And I'm thinking, oh, this is safe. But guess what? Wasn't safe at all. Because finally, all that behavior came crashing down on me in that situation. So I didn't do it in every situation. There was times that I got with somebody romantically that was available in some kind of way. But the majority of the time, I was with somebody who wasn't available. And I think subconsciously, I did it on purpose. So let me know in the comment section if you know any Aquarius that do that. Because I swear it's common for us. Now we're going to take a look at some positive comments. This came from Guinea Cornbread. She said, oh my God, I woke up with this exact thought on my mind. This is underneath the video about leaving the United States. A lot of people of different cultures have said to me, like, yo, I'm ready to go. like I'm tired of all of this, okay? And she says she woke up with that thought. And then this person here, this is Siberia Swan. Siberia is really cool and leaves a lot of good messages. Siberia said, thank you so much for talking about this, Queen. I may not be a person of color, but I've been fed up with being an American and being associated with this place for years. And this is a nice list of tips for those toying with the idea of leaving forever. Yeah, and that's what I said earlier. I addressed it to African Americans because that's who asked for the video. But anybody of any culture could use the information. So I'm glad, Siberia Swan, you saw that and got some use out of it. Because yes, definitely, it's for anybody that wants the information. I addressed it to African Americans because they're the ones that asked me about it and asked me to do the video. All right, so there we are. So now it's time for us to get going. So if you would like to send me a message, my information will be underneath this video. If you would like to get a reading done, please email me and I'll hook you up with an appointment. And come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.